All right. Today is the big day. Today is the day that, well, the whole season comes down to this one game. If we win this game, we got one more. It gives us our first bowl game of this era. First bowl game in arguably a couple of eras. It's been 8 years since our last bowl game. It gives us something to build on because last year we went 5-7. If we go 5-7 again this year, then we're right back where we were. Probably in a worse situation because we're losing Locker. If we can eke out 6-6, get to a bowl game, we can continue to build on that. Even if we're losing Locker, we can get ready to build around Nick Montana. And for those of you who don't know, actually, Joe Montana's son is on our depth chart right now, behind Locker. He may or may not start next year. Right now, it's looking more like Keith Price is going to start next year, but keep an eye out on Joe Montana's son because he's on our depth chart. But enough about that. This game, the Apple Cup. Played it over 100 times. I think we own the season series by a reasonable margin, but that's not going to help us today in about 7 hours. What's going to help us today is that I still do think we are the better team than Washington State. I know Washington State's a little better than they were last year when we won 30-0. But I think we're a little better this year too, and Washington State still has a lot of problems. They've beaten Oregon State, as I recall, but other than that, their other wins, or other win, I can't remember if they have 2 or 3, came against complete scrub teams like, I believe, Portland State. So, I'm not saying we're world beaters or anything like that, but I am confident that we're better than Washington State. And I feel like the odds obviously favor us. We're going up to Pullman now, so there is home field advantage that goes the way of the Cougars. And it's snowing up there, so you're looking at a potentially lower scoring game. You're looking at a potentially sloppy game, receivers falling down, more running game. And the last 2 weeks, I think the running game has been great, so I am not afraid to try and win with it. But you may be looking at a game that Jake Locker doesn't quite get to go off on, so I hope we get to play one more game. I hope we get to go 6-6 and go play in whatever bowl game they happen to give us. So Locker gets one last chance to show off his talents, because the last 2 weeks he hasn't been able to. And today, he probably will not be able to in the snow. Just a guess. So, I don't know too much about Washington State. I think they have 2 or 3 wins. I know one of them was against somebody like Portland State. I think it was Portland State, and I know another one of them was against Oregon State. So they're obviously a little better than they were last year when we had really no problem just curb stomping them. To my recollection, their offense did nothing all day. Our offense did more than enough to secure the victory. We injured their quarterbacks, I think, 3 separate times. And yeah, I'm ready for this. This is what it all comes down to, and I cannot wait for this game. It's one of the bigger Apple Cups in recent memory because I know going 6-6 might sound uninteresting to some of you. If there are any Oregon Ducks fans out there, obviously 6-6 sounds like nothing. If you have Florida, Texas, LSU, and so on and so forth, if you have fans of those teams out there, they're going to look at 6-6 like it's nothing. If their teams went 6-6, they would consider that to be awful. But it's one of the bigger Apple Cups in recent memory because it's a chance to say that we went to a bowl game with Jake Locker. If we don't, then we become the franchise, well, not the franchise, we become the college that couldn't even get to a bowl game under Jake Locker. And, we had 4 years of him. He lost some time due to injury, but still, We had it. It does suck that we were never able to really compete for a Pac-10 championship or a national championship with a guy as good as Locker. It sucks. We're going to lose him after this year. Never going to get a guy like that back, probably. Not for a long time. It sucks that we were never able to seriously compete, but if we manage to get to a genuine bowl game, even if it is some crappy little, I don't even know, bowl game, the Why So Serious Bowl, the Logitech Bowl, the Trojan Condoms Bowl, I don't care. It's better than what we have right now. I want to say that we were able to do something with the guy. So, today I am looking for a win. I expect to win. I think we're better than Washington State, and I think we can prove that even in Pullman, even in the snow. Excuse me. I think Chris Polk is ready to take control of this game. I think Locker may not have his best game. He has not had his best game the last 2 weeks. The last 2 games, I guess, would be more accurate. I don't expect him to light the world on fire. I expect Polk to have to carry the offense, and I think that he will. As for our defense, I'm a little worried about it. The last 2 weeks, our defense has been great, but Washington State probably has a better offense than either of the teams we played, especially UCLA. I mean, UCLA, they run the pistol formation. We all know they cannot pass worth anything, and stopping them doesn't really mean much, although obviously they dominated a game against Texas offensively, and they're not a complete scrub offense. Beating them up doesn't mean so much. The Cal game, Cal, they don't really have a gimmicky offense, I don't think, but it's not a very good one. Washington State probably has a better one. We'll see. But it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for our defense in all likelihood. I don't want to say that our defense is coming around from where they were earlier in the season. I think it was just a reflection of the opposition. With all that being said, I think the defense will be okay. I don't think they're going to lose the game for us. I think it'll be in the hands of the offense. I think it will be a reasonable task for the offense to go out there and score enough to win. And I think they will. So I'm going to say 20-10 today would be my guess at a score. I think we're going to win this one 20-10, something like that. And I think we're going to roll on to a bowl game. And if we don't get this one, it's going to be devastating. And some of you people out there, you may not get why. You may not totally understand it, but it will be devastating if Washington loses this game. It's all about recruiting power. It's all about giving the people who are coming back on this team something to look forward to. It's all about improving from last year. Last year, 5-7. This year, hopefully 6-6. So I got a good feeling about today. Let's go out there, bow down to Washington. Let's get this win. All right. I might not have time for it, so I also want to talk about the Panthers game tomorrow. Obvious must win. We got to have it. If we don't win, I think we should move the franchise down to Los Angeles. I'm kidding, but, Carolina flying cross country, 3,000 plus miles coming into a quest. It brings back memories of the Tampa game last year where we had Tampa Bay flying here, a really bad team, and they beat the crap out of us. And that was the low point. We had a bad team that year, and so did Tampa. So, it's not the worst thing. But if we want to prove we're even mildly competent, we got to win this one. If you look at, again, last year, when Jacksonville came into town, Jacksonville was a better team than us last year. Not by a lot, but they were. And when they came into town, we beat the crap out of them because the fact that they had to fly cross country, the fact that we had the home field, it meant something. Obviously, it didn't mean much last week with Kansas City, but Carolina has to fly twice that distance. Carolina is twice as much out of their element. So if we don't get this done, the season's over. Actually, sadly enough, it wouldn't be. At 5-7, it would not be done yet, but it would look very bleak. We have to get this done. I'm fairly confident because this team has been on a slide, and while some of the losses were not really discouraging, last week certainly was. I think the team can bounce back from that kind of embarrassment. Hopefully we get Mike Williams back. Russell Okung should be out there. We got a couple other injuries here and there, but nothing that is too surprising other than, Mike Williams. If we don't have Mike Williams, the offense changes. And he's such a big part of what we do. I do hope we have him, and I do hope we have him playing well. But, Carolina's been playing a little better lately. I still think they're the worst team in the league. I still think that, we should absolutely get this done. If we don't, well, I'm ready to concede the division to St. Louis because it looks like it's going to be them. I expect the Niners to lose tomorrow to Green Bay, obviously, and I can't remember who Arizona plays, but they're awful. So it's us and them. I can't even remember who St. Louis plays tomorrow, but it doesn't matter. So actually, let's go look that up now. So to sum it up, I expect to win. I expect the defense to force turnovers. I think that will be, the crux of our advantage in this game. Expect the offense to move the ball. I don't really know what else to say because, Carolina, they're 1-10. They're obviously an awful team. Probably by far the worst team in the league still, but they are playing a little better, so I'll leave it at that. We're going to hopefully force some turnovers and take care of business. Real quick, the picks. I did pick Philadelphia in the Thursday night game, meaning I finally got a Thursday game right. So I got the Vikings beating the Bills. I like the whole interim head coach thing. It seems like it energizes a team. I got the Dolphins beating the Browns, I think. That's a good game. I mean, neither team's going to make the playoffs, but that's not a bad game. Jacksonville beats Tennessee. It's bad when you're hoping that Kerry Collins is healthy. Obviously, if Rusty Smith plays, and I don't think he will, the Titans are done. If not, that changes things a little bit, but I think Jacksonville needs to bounce back if they want to stay in the playoff picture. I think they will. Redskins at Giants. This feels like a blowout. I got the Giants winning big. Niners at Packers. I have the Packers winning big. Saints at Bengals. Cincinnati, if there's a team out there that's worse than Carolina, it's either Arizona or Cincinnati. But this does feel like a trap game, doesn't it? But, the Saints with the extra days to prepare, and I know Cincinnati had extra days to prepare too. I think they blow this out as well. I think this is going to be a blowout. Chicago at Detroit. I still don't think the Bears are as good as their record indicates. I still don't trust them, but fuck it. They're going 9-3. They're going to be 9-3. They're going to win this one. I think it'll be kind of close, actually, but they'll win. Denver at Kansas City. It's the no handshake bowl, and I gotta love Kansas City at home. Feels right. Oakland at San Diego. Oakland, I don't know what's going on with them. They're not getting it done like I saw they did over the first 10 weeks or so. I think San Diego wins pretty handily, actually. Atlanta at Tampa. I got the Bucks. I think the Bucks are finally going to put an end to the Falcon winning streak. Good game. I think the Bucks are going to pull the upset, though. Rams and Cardinals. Oh, okay, they're playing each other. All right. Well, the Rams is the pick, obviously. I already picked Seattle. I feel pretty good about it. Dallas at Indianapolis. I got no way the Colts lose 2 in a row. Steelers at Ravens. The Roethlisberger injury thing scared me off. I was going to pick Pittsburgh, but now it's Baltimore. And I guess I'll pick the Jets over the Patriots. I just like the confidence that team is exuding. And until they lose, I guess I'm not going to pick against them because they just keep finding ways to win. So that's the picks. See you guys later. Bow down to Washington.